Hello, YNABers. My name is Jesse Meekum, and this is podcast number 26 for You Need a Budget, Car Edition, where we teach you 4 rules to help you stop living paycheck to paycheck, get out of debt, and save more money. I didn't want to miss a podcast, but I have about 6 hours left of this drive, so I'm recording this from my car. Technology is a miracle. Doing it on my phone. Anyway, this will also really help me to stay awake during this drive. I wanted to talk today about backpacking a little bit. I'm planning a backpacking trip for the Scouts. It's going to be a week long, and you have to pack in all of your food and then pack out everything that you bring in, obviously. They call it leaving no trace, so we make sure we do that. And I have to grapple with the food, basically. When you're backpacking, you want to obviously have as light a pack as possible, and you want to make sure that you have enough food. And you have all of the food right up at the front at the beginning of your trip. It wouldn't make a lot of sense if you were backpacking to pack up all of this food that should last you for the week, and then you devour it in the first 2 days. So think about your paycheck, and then think about that in relation to rationing food for a backpacking trip. Same thing if you were on some long-distance bike trip or running a marathon or anything like that. You ration out those energy sources just like you should ration out your paycheck. Now, as you implement Rule 4 and you stop living paycheck to paycheck, that rationing doesn't become as important. You've got a reserve, this magical reserve, an extra backpack you don't have to carry that has all of this food, and you can just draw on that as you need it, and then you're replenishing that as you go. But there are situations where, and I was reminded of this as I drove by a billboard for alarm sales. These guys are recruiting salesmen for the summer to go out and sell home security systems. And these kids, they're mainly students, college students, and they'll make really, really good money during the summer. 3 or 4 months out of the summer, they'll make $40, $50, $60, even $100,000. And then they go to school and they live off of that money, hopefully, that they made during the summer. Now, I know a lot of you are on variable incomes where you have really, really flush months and then really lean months. And you just have to think about it in terms of planning for that backpacking trip, where you can say, well, I've got all this food, I've got all this money, I've got this big paycheck that's sitting here, and I've got a fairly long trek ahead of me until I'll have food again, or until I'm paid again. You have to plan carefully. In the situation with these extreme cycles of income, with these students making tens of thousands of dollars over the summer and then not making a penny for the whole school year and able to focus on their schoolwork, you have to really be careful. If I were a student making that kind of money in those few months out of the summer, and I knew what I know now, I would handle it something like this. I would take that $80,000 that I earned over the summer, and I would stick it in a savings account. Just normal whatever savings account. Then I would purposely not give that savings account online access. I would then have my normal checking account, and I would decide how much I wanted to pay myself each month from that large sum that's in the savings account. And I would set up a transfer. Most banks will let you set up pretty fancy transfers. I know Ing Direct does this. I'm pretty sure Emigrant Direct does this, although I don't use either of them anymore. But if I recall, you could set up things like, I want to transfer this much money per month, but stop it at this date. Or I want to transfer this much money per month, but stop it after I've transferred X amount. And if it were me, I would just set it up to where it automatically paid me that transfer amount each month from that savings account to which I had no online access. So if I was tempted to draw on that savings account, and there may be a legitimate reason where you'd want to, if I was tempted to do that, I could, or I would, have to go into the bank and do a very manual withdrawal and talk to a teller and do all those things that I try to avoid for convenience sake. And I would do that on purpose, setting up a little bit of a barrier, maybe keeping myself a little more honest and protecting that money. Now, if it were me now, not as a student, and with the experience that I have, I would simply put it in my checking account dump it into a category called big buffer or whatever. And then as the months rolled on, I would just transfer money out of that big buffer category, and then it would become available. You do that by budgeting a negative number, by the way. And then it would become available, and I would just distribute it where it needed. So it would all stay in my checking account, and I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you aren't on a massively variable income, you know, the kind I'm talking about where it's an annual sum, basically, but you still have these flush months and the lean months, you want to kind of do the same thing. Just be pushing off some of that flush month money, push it off into a category, push it off into another savings account, and have it there to draw on during the lean months. So if you have, let's say over 6 months, you're going to earn, let's say you make really good money, you earn $60,000, but in month 1 you earn $20,000, and in month 2 and 3 you earn nothing. You would want to make sure that in month 1, where you earn that $20,000, you didn't burn the $20,000. You'd want to say, well, my expenses are maybe $7,000 a month, $6,000 a month, so I'm going to spend $6,000 this month, spend $6,000 next month, spend $6,000 next month, and you have quite a while before you're stressing, before you're really needing to make a sale or close a deal or whatever it is to get that next windfall. So set aside that money that in the flush months, put some aside for a rainy day that isn't tied to a specific expense, like we teach with Rule 2. That rainy day for you is just a rainy month where it's just lean, period. Set some money aside for that, and you'll be just fine. You'll even out those stressful ups and downs that, you know, cause fights in relationships and cause loss of sleep and gray hair and all sorts of other nasty things. You'll smooth them out. That is the podcast for today. Driving in the beautiful country of Utah. I enjoyed it. I apologize again for the bad audio. I will post this up, though, and you will have it to listen to Monday morning bright and early. And I wish myself a happy trip. Until next time, follow YNAB's 4 rules, and you will win financially. You have not budgeted like this.